want some vital information on branding and setting yourself apart from the rest? Well, welcome to What's Hot with Janet Shields Scott. I'm Janet Shields Scott, and today's guest is Mr. Angelo Ellerbee, so he's What's Hot today. Angelo Ellerbee is CEO of the firm Double Exposure. He's an outstanding leader. He's a trailblazer. He's worked with successful artists and helped to brand like Michael Jackson, DMX, Mary J Blige, Alicia Keys, Dionne Warwick, Lionel Richie, and so many more. Stay tuned for some surprising revelations regarding the late DMX. Afterwards, I'll share some must-have skincare advice on a product tool that you'll definitely want to have. Let's get to our interview with Mr. Angelo Ellerbee.
Wow, look at that beauty.
And look at you.
Look at that beauty. Wow.
So excited to see you.
You look so beautiful.
Thank you. Well, you know what? Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation.
Let me tell you something. I said, if I'm going to have a date with my longtime friend, an afternoon date, Zoom date,
Oh,
get it up. Okay?
you nailed it. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All for you, my friend.
Oh, that's very special. Thank you so very much.
I mean, I think back to when I met you, but at the time I was a national columnist, so I was coming in to interview your artist.
Right. I remember.
Yeah, and your staff, everybody was just beautiful, wonderful, and my hat is off to you and your success. As a matter of fact, I want to see if I can show. I don't know if this will you. There was a picture that I found on the
Oh my God. The king. Oh my God. Where did you find that picture at?
Well, actually, it was drummed up from Dionne Warwick hosting the celebration, celebrating you.
Oh, wow. Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for bringing me back to those memories.
Yes, as a matter of fact, you have worked with so many people. CEO, let me just get this out. CEO, public relations, double exposure, and you've been in business now for 40 something odd years.
No, now it's about 54 years.
54. Oh my goodness.
That's like 54 years. Yeah. You know what the great thing about people who define success? They forget to include how you become successful. And I become successful by the graces of God. I become successful I'm no more than a vessel. It's nothing great about me. He makes me great. He is the greatest. He is it all. And so with his leadership and his guidance, for anyone that has faith and belief in him, you're bound to be successful. But success starts from within, and it should be shared. And I share in God's working word.
Yes, you are so right, because I look at people like yourself who has been in my life and others as divine connections that God has brought to me for us to work together in some capacity, or whether it's a few minutes or a few years or many years. I just feel like we're all divine connections for one another.
I agree with you totally.
And as well as with the artists that you've worked with, like Alicia Keys and DMX, Michael Jackson, and Dionne Warwick, who we were just talking about, Melba Moore, Mary J Blige. I could probably go Michael Jackson. I mean, I could go on.
So wonderful. They were doing a study on me on Friday. History Makers, the History Channel History Makers is coming to do a documentary on me. And so it makes me do my homework, because as you grow older, you sometimes forget the bridges and the people that you worked with. And it's been 6 different decades of music, from opera to gospel to reggae to reggaeton to R&B to pop. that was the unique thing about my company as it developed itself, that we did not limit ourselves. We were able to connect the dots in every particular genre of music. That was really key and very important for me. You know, from Laura Branigan, Gloria, to Beverly Sills, you know, to Donald Lawrence, to Karen Clark Sheard, you know, to DMX, to Corrupt. And it just goes back and forth how blessed you are. And
Yeah.
you learn it all. At first, got to give nothing but thanks and praise to James M. Tumay, the late James M. Tumay,
Yeah,
who,
I didn't realize he passed
yeah,
recently.
yeah, he passed, believe it or not, he passed on my birthday on January the 9th.
Really? Oh,
He
wow.
passed on my birthday on January the 9th. But Mtume was my teacher, my mentor. He was my all in all. He gave me the advice and the counsel and the direction to move progressively forward. Because as you know, my background is in fashion. And because of the background in fashion, he said, don't you think it's time for you to grow up? And I said, grow up? He said, grow up and stand up. It's time for you to change your life. Get into something else. You have conquered fashion. You sold in Bloomingdale's. You did the whole fashion route. And now it's time for you to graduate. And I learned so much from it. It was like going to a university, because I worked for M2Mate for 6 or 7 years, and I worked as an intern, which means there was not really no exchange of dollars and cents. It was exchange. It was a meeting of the minds. And I surrounded myself around those energies because I found that this man was just brilliant. And he just took me in underneath his wing and taught me how to orchestrate what would be another phase in my life, another step, another path. And so I must clearly mention this person who's given me life and allowing me to live the life that I live now. It was James M. Tumay.
One of your divine connections.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
And I got to also say his wife shared a lot in it, Camille M. Tumay, because Camille was a designer. And if you remember, my beginning was doing fashion shows in Jersey and supporting a lot of the organizations in New Jersey. And for me, it was really important to give back. I come born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, and they called it the Brick City. So it's a very underrated community where people just did not understand whatever the culture. 2,000-3,000 people would come to my shows each year. I fought for the rights of HIV and AIDS and the education for HIV and AIDS. I stood steadfast to make the city of Newark understand the importance of an alternative community of people living there and respecting them. So it was my plight, along with City Council member Dana Roan, to get a flag, the LGBTQ flag, at City Hall. So my involvement within the city of Newark was very close and very dear to me, because it gave me so much that you got to really want to give it back. And for those closed minds, you have to really do the work of God and allow them to understand, not necessarily accept, but to understand the alternative lifestyle and support it. So Camille came into the show and she said to me, Angelo, my husband, and I did not know who Mtume was. I just didn't know. I looked around to somebody and he said, Angelo, he's the biggest selling record in the country now. And I go, oh, hi. And then she asked me to create and style the You, Me, and He album cover. And that was the beginning of my relationship with the M2Mays. When we were working in the basement of M2May's home, and we got the offer Mtume got the invitation to do the soundtrack for Oprah Winfrey's first film, which was The Native Son. We had to, and I was given the duties to be his press person. I didn't know what it was, but he said, you're going to do the press. And then he gave me $100 and said, go to the store and get some newspapers. And he said, look in entertainment and lifestyle section. That's where I need to be. And get on the telephone. And that's how I got involved.
Wow.
And
Then you've also become an author where you've written
I have authored 4 books.
4 books.
The wonderful lady by the name of Judith Reagan Books, came to me and gave me a book deal. And the first book it was really based on my 24-week artist development program. And this is the class, I think they were calling my company the Charm School for Rappers, because I was teaching them diction, speech, manner, things that mama and daddy should have taught them, that I was now teaching them how to sit in the chair, how to speak, how to walk, how to talk. And I just reflected back to Barry Gordy, who is my in-heart mentor, for all the things that he had to go through in the 50s and 60s in terms of getting his music and his artists accepted to the mainstream audience. And Barry Gordy said, I need for the Supremes to look a certain way. So he brought in a charm coach, teaching them how to walk, how to talk, a choreographer, all those things that was going to make them accepted in the American marketplace and above and beyond. So so I created this artist development program that I thought was really important for that time, that people needed to know. Particularly, that was the era of rap music being so misunderstood.
Yes, yes. And I remember too, because you brought me in when you started having the workshops at the Apollo Theater.
Oh my God,
and I remember that. And I was sitting next to Luther, and I forget who was sitting on the other side of me. And we were sitting on the stage addressing the audience, as you said, on health, wellness, grooming, and just everything. And it
I
was
remember
a
that
wonderful experience to be able to do that, because I too, as a young girl, was sent to a finishing school to learn all of those things. And I share that with you, where I've always wanted to have a school to pass that on to other young kids coming up, because there's so many kids, as you said, where their parents don't teach them certain things, and maybe their parents never learned it, so they don't know how to teach them.
It's very true.
People like yourself that really can make a difference in the community.
Well, it's very important. It's still very important to me to this day. I think the absence of not having artist development, I respect independency. I really do. And having independent record labels. But I also think that these independent record labels have to look steadfast in including what would be the development of the artists. Don't cheat the artists out of being educated to the who, what's, when's, where's, and why's of the industry, and how he or she must conform to all of the variables that makes this industry. Because I think before it's talent, it's business, and it's the business of music. So, it was my artist development program was 17 weeks. And so we taught them away from the diction and speech and interview techniques. We got into publishing. I would bring in publishing people. I would bring in accountants. I would bring in all these people, because the classes were 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of times people did not want to spend 2.5 hours, but once they got into the class, they had an appreciation of learning what staying power is about. And that's the key thing, is staying power.
Yes. So in this day and age with the TikTok and the Instagram, people are now just coming up with their own looks and their own ideas. What do you think about that in terms of?
Well, I think being independent is really wonderful, but I also think that you have to remember that what you do is recorded. What you say is recorded. What you look like is recorded, and that's going to be your memory.
Yes, yes.
I think that Andy Warhol said it best. Everyone gets 15 minutes to be a star. Right. And what happens after that? Those 15 minutes go away very fast. I don't drink brewed coffee. I can only drink what would be, I take that back. I don't drink instant coffee, but I drink brewed coffee. So things that take time, I'm willing to deal with that time factor. It could be long. That's brewed coffee. Things that are instant, like very much like social media and the kinds of looks and interpretations of what these young people are putting out now, that's instant coffee. You
Yeah.
got to put in
Right.
order to get out.
And not just that, I also try to teach my nieces and nephews that when you're looking for a job, people are actually logging on, looking at these videos. They're
Absolutely.
connecting to what you're doing. Do I want
Absolutely.
this person in my company? So, I mean, that's something to think about.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you bring that out because I was looking to hire somebody and I went straight to, always go straight to Instagram and I look at, that ain't for me.
Hmm. Yeah, can you
That's not for
imagine?
me. That's not what I want to have in my life. And sometimes I tell this young lady that interviewed for me, I called her up and I had a face-to-face meeting. I'm sure she thought that I was calling her up because she had the job, but no, I was calling her up to check up.
Hmm. Yeah,
You cannot want to come to work. I don't care what your qualifications are. When you do that, that gives me a second thought. Do I let you go out with my client? Do I let you drink in front of my client? Is this what happens when you go out and I send you out? I can't do that. And so I want you to think about your future, not about what is happening, what is current. Think about your future because that's for everlasting.
true. That's true. Now let's talk about your books. Had started talking about them. Let's just go on because the fact that you have what it the six where I have the candle
The
right.
sense,
The
okay, yeah. So
That's
what?
yeah. Wait,
Yeah,
I don't know if you still have
yes.
your
Oh
candle.
my God, are you serious? You're so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, because I bought my new home here with
Wonderful.
lake view in the back there.
Oh, it looks
I said,
wonderful.
let me save a candle to burn in
That's
my new home. I love the smell of them. So I
that.
don't
Thank you
know.
so very much.
Yes. If you,
Yeah. So the first book was "What's Your Excuse," and that was done with Judith Reagan. The
mhm.
second book I did, what was Axe Angelo, and Dionne Warwick had Axe Angelo, DMX had Axe Angelo, Mary J Blige, and Alicia Keys, and that book was all about self help. I wanted to let people know what it takes to be a Dionne Warwick, what it takes to be a Mary J. Blige, and the things that I applied and the things that I taught them was important for I thought the world to know. I wanted people to understand that this again is not instant coffee. This is brewed coffee, and it takes time for individuals to understand the impact of the career that they have selected to choose.
Yes.
And so that was that book. And then my other book, The Sense of Success.
Right.
I really wrote that book because I was finding that so many people were giving up on life. You know, those singers once were and still wanted to be, those people who were incarcerated, the domestic violent wife, everyone that had gave up on life. I wanted to let them know that I came from Newark, New Jersey, from a single mother who was a waitress, the jobs that I incurred, the things that I had to do at an early age, and how I was able to combine all of those things and create, with no money, create a corporation that would speak volumes to the world. And
Huge.
yeah, so for me, it was giving. I believe in fourth chances and fifth chances and sixth chances because I believe that if God gives you this life, this gift that He gives you. He allows you, and He's the only He's the only person and spirit that allows you to make so many mistakes in your life, and He still accepts you and loves you and gives you another chance. So who am I to sit back and to become judgmental, or who is society to be
Because
judgmental?
I read where you are collaborating with BET. Tell us about that.
I am working with a gentleman by the name of John Mark Sanford. He's a wonderful producer, and he works for BET. He also has a independent endeavor away from BET, and that him and I have come together to work up some shows. And so we're working on one now where we're honoring our seniors in the entertainment and
What's
political
the title?
communities. You know, we're looking at doing something on Audrey Smaltz. We're looking at Dapper Dan. We're looking at doing something on Jesse Jackson, Congressman Rangel. And it's a salute to them. We believe it's really important now to give our senior people their flowers. It's really important that they get their flowers now. I don't believe in flowers at a funeral. I can't smell them. I need to feel them, see them, and smell them and understand them. And I think it's time for us to have general respect for our seniors, people who have been contributors to society that has been given back, that's been fighting the battle and the cause. So that's one of the projects. The other project is that I'm being away from BET. I'm being considered for my own reality show. At one point, I was very hesitant to think that I wanted to do reality TV. But if I can serve as a tool of inspiration, and I am not looked at in a silly light, but a very positive light where people can come and grow by, I'm willing to do that. So we're in the first stages of writing scripts and accepting scripts. And so I'm excited about it. And I just finished working with Miss Warwick on her documentary. It's wonderful, wonderful. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it on CNN. And if you did get to see it, you can go to CNN on demands. Okay. I'm also working with Melba Moore, who I have fell romantically in love with. And we're working on a lot of things for Miss Moore. This lady has the vocal ability of, I don't know, a mass choir. And she has a new album out that is doing extremely well. So I'm working with her, and I'm working with Robert Cool Bell of Kool and the Gang. And I'm excited about working with Mr. Bell because he's in so many arenas of the world at this point, in performances, also been being an entrepreneur and coming out with his La Cool champagne.
Well, talking about that before.
Yeah, it's doing extremely, extremely well, and I'm very, very pleased to work with Cool. I've been working with Cool now for about 10 or 11 years.
So would you like to give us just a little tidbit, a story of something unusual that may have happened with one of the artists that you were working with over the years?
You know, I always want to paint a positive picture. Sure. And, you know, this year we had the passing of Earl Simmons, DMX. And everyone looked at Earl because he had some dependencies as being a very negative guy. And I just really want to set the record really straight because I worked for him as his manager, as his publicist, also as his president of his record label, Bloodline. He was the most giving person I've ever met. We would get into arguments about his tithes, his monthly tithes. He couldn't care what else got paid, but he wanted to make sure that his monthly tithes were being paid.
That's beautiful.
He gave so much, millions and millions of dollars back into the community. And I applaud Earl on his give back to the community. He never forgot about where he came from. He always saluted his grandmother, and each and every week we would go in to deal with what we needed to deal with at this facility in Mount Vernon. We would do a Christmas and a Thanksgiving where we feed the homeless. I would bring in entertainers. This is a person that I think that people have all wrong. Mm-hmm. This is a person that was a giving, caring, sensitive. Now, he may not want you to know that side of him, but that was the side that made me work very hard for him. Mm. That's not a story. I just think that people need to have an appreciation for the worth of another man, another human being that God has created. And he was a wonderful individual.
We're going to wind it down now. With all that you've done and you do, what do you do to wind down for self-care and wellness?
You know, I'm going to be so very, very honest with you. When I started the company, there was 19 people that worked for me. And that went on for about 20-something odd years. And then we moved to Fifth Avenue. And then it went down to about 10 people. So now it's 4 of us. I really, you know, there's been an elevator ride, you know, not an elevator. I had an escalator ride in my career. Everything was not always hunky-dory. You had the downtimes. I lost millions of dollars, a whole other bid. You start over, you do, but it's just being consistent. I think that for me is having a self-worth to continue to do what I do. Don't try to retire. I'm not trying to retire. I'm not trying to. My downtime is being able to watch TV, read a book.
Okay.
People say I haven't taken a vacation in years, but that's because when you build something, with your spirit, with upstairs, I've always been a no trust zone. So I stay on top of my business. I answer my phone 7 days a week. I do take the time. I do take time
A
out.
spa treatment or anything?
Well, you know what I will do is when I go get the haircut, I get the facial and I get the manicure and the pedicure. And that's the time that I relax. But on Saturday and Sunday, I take me time, but I haven't been away. But that's been my life, travel. And I'm kind of tired of traveling. I'm trying to, at one point I thought about moving to Florida where the sun shines 365 days for the leap day, but I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm just thankful.
Yes.
Being thankful is important. That's rest for me.
Yeah.
Because it's so important to be thankful and appreciative to others. Be appreciative to whatever goes on in your life. Be thankful because life is a gift.
Yes, it is.
It's not a given. It's not, people think it's a given. It's a gift.
Yes, yes.
Unwrap it carefully.
Thank you. And we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Angelo. Have a great day, rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining me. And I promised you a What's Hot beauty and wellness review. Well, here it is. The face roller. That's what's hot today. I love using this. It's for all genders. It gives subtle differences though. So what you can do with it is you use it. It comes in all colors. This is the jade. This is the quartz, rose quartz. It comes in the jade color as well and other colors. So you can take the larger area here and you'll go under your chin. Again, like I said, it's for all genders. It gives you a nice stimulation and it's a cool feeling to the skin. It feels sort of like a massage on the skin. You can use this while you're watching TV or on the phone talking to someone. But anyway, it's great to go under this area here where your chin is and just tighten up the chin area. Again, it's going to be subtle differences. You can go along the jaw area while you're here as well. You can use it 10 to 20 times. And then what you want to do is go up on the face to defy gravity, to lift the jaw area. So you'll go up in nice motions, nice tender motions, go up, and again you'll go 10 to 20 times in each section of the face. And I like to use the small area, the small part of the device, right around the marionette lines here. Again, you use it 10 to 20 times. And then also I like to go right under, use it right under the eye area, just very gentle movements under the eye area. You don't want to poke yourself in the eye. So yeah, just nice gentle motions. Again, 10 to 20 times. You can use it right here in the crease of your eye for the frown lines, and then for the frown lines on the side. You can use it. You can also go up on your forehead. Go upward if you have forehead lines to lift the forehead. So this is really a good tool. Again, it's subtle differences. It costs less than $20. You can find it in most retailers, most local retailers, wherever you are. And then of course you can probably find it on Amazon like a lot of other people do if you don't want to leave the house. But again, it's a great tool, subtle differences to tighten and lift. We exercise our bodies, but we don't do anything to exercise our face. So there you have it, our beauty and wellness review on What's Hot. I'm Janet Shields-Scott. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Remember, you have one body. Take care of it. All things which are impossible with man are possible with God. Thank you and have a great day.